104.7 FM. When politics unfolds, when decisions are made, we reveal the impact. Welcome to the Polity, your deep dive into the forces shaping governance, policies, and power. From the halls of government.
You were there.
I was not there. Check the record. Wait now. You were there. I was not there.
To the voices of the people.
We are suffering. This suffering is too much. It's too much. Look at the students. There's no job. They finish school. There's no job for them.
We analyze the undercurrents, expose the intrigues, and break down the narratives that define our democracy. Dr. Olisa Mbeki delivering razor-sharp analysis, and Ebuka Franklin and Chisom on the question wheel, driving the conversation. We bring you the most compelling discussions on governance, policies, and power plays. Stay informed, stay engaged, stay ahead. The Polity, every weekdays at 9:15 a.m. Exclusive on Udala 104.7 FM Onitsha.
The last 24 hours saw two defections, one of which Dr. Olisa Mbeki would simply say, "I told you." Speaking about that, of the River State Governor, Simdalayi Fubara. And of course, we also saw Adeleke move camps. Adeleke is now of the Accord Party. And of course, all of these defections are reportedly blamed on the internal crisis within the PDP. Other issues and other underlying political signs that have brought about these defections, speaking about the move by the All Progressives Congress, or the alleged move by the All Progressives Congress APC to have the entire political structure of the country under one umbrella to consolidate its moves for 2027 are still in the realm of speculation. For what we know today, the PDP, because of its internal issues, is almost empty. And of course, in the middle of all of that happening yesterday, let's not forget to mention that with that move by Fubara, the South has fallen for the APC. That's what some persons have called it. And of course, in the course of the conversation today, I'd get to play an audio of the statement that Governor Fubara made yesterday when he announced that he has joined the APC officially. He also did mention the president and what he said, and everyone is pointing towards that angle. But of course, I wouldn't want to go the way of the herd. I would want to look at the fact that the PDP has still not been able to put its house together. And unfortunately, what is befalling it is what befalls a man whose house is not in order. Let's not also forget that yesterday, the Senate okayed the president sending troops to Benin Republic. And of course, the time of this assent is what some persons have questioned. You already have these troops out. Why coming now to ask for permission to send them out? Also, Canada has said that in the coming days, it's going to be giving doctors express entry. And so we're already having a brain drain in that industry, speaking about the health sector in the country. And with moves like that, one can only wonder what is going to become of our health system in the coming days, especially where the government is not doing anything really tangible to make sure that the health sector in Nigeria is very firm and people would want to stay and possibly even come back to serve here. All of these and many more we get to look at on today's edition of the Polity. Good morning to you and welcome. I am Chisom Chinedu. Franklin Ebuka is here. Good morning, Franklin.
Good morning, Chisom, and good morning to everybody. Of course, from matches we watched yesterday in the Champions League to the things that happened in politics, in the governance and what have you. He had just highlighted some of them. He talked about what happened in River State, where we saw Fubara defecting to the APC. Somebody can say officially because his defection was foretold, just like the defection of the governor of Osun State, Ademona Adeleke, was also foretold. I recorded on this platform, we talked about it and said it was just a matter of time for him to declare for a court party. And yesterday he declared that, even saying that he joined a party a month ago. So that has been concluded for these very two persons, like you highlighted. The Southwest, the entirety of Southwest has fallen to the APC, and they are making inroad into the Southeast. In fact, they have made inroad into the Southwest and what have you. So if you look at the distribution now, you see that APC has about 28 states under them. I'm talking about where they have governors, about 28 states. PDP has 4, Labour Party has 1, ABGA 1, NMPP 1, and then Accord Party 1, because Adeleke has joined the Accord Party. And that tells you that we're moving towards one direction where everybody goes to where the meat is being distributed and where it is, if it's not in APC. In fact, we learned that Caleb moved to Ango Plateau State. Is also on the verge of joining APC too. Kefa Sabo has joined, as much as he's postponed his official the campaign. So this tells you where we are. You mentioned Canada offering entry for Nigerians or immigrants who would like to go there for greener pastures. And like he highlighted, here in Nigeria, so if you see people who are trying to move in droves to go there for greener pastures, we won't blame them, because the bias now on your ball about if here in Nigeria we don't value doctors, we don't give them the kind of environment they need for them to function very well. Of course, when they see greener pastures somewhere where they can work conveniently, of course they are going to leave. But I must tell you that doctors who work abroad is not as easy as it is being told, because if you have your shift, you work your shift very religiously, and in most cases, you don't even get to use your phone until you are done. But they understand the perks that come with that very work they do over there.
I'd like to mention that this is not about being easy. It's about the system rewarding you for what you do. So you would wholeheartedly put in everything. As against here, where the system, doesn't even see you. You just do what you feel up to it, and that's the decay we have.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because I say the thing is this, because here in Nigeria, we don't value that the doctors the way they're supposed to be valued. And over there, they give them more preference, and not just that preference. The remuneration is also more like it, and given the fact that our currency is nothing to write home about now. So if you over there, let's say you earn like $2,700 in a month, and you do your conversion, of course, it gives you hefty money, and you have every reason for you to jump on offers like that coming from either UK or Canada. Then you talk about Anambra State here, which I want to highlight, because budget defense has been ongoing. I think for about 1 month now. It's been not 1 month, for about 1 week now. This is the second week of this very budget defense, where MDAs and co, they've been coming around to defend their budget, and we have seen certain development from the budget defense. It was during budget defense that we got to know that Anambra government is planning to construct 10,000 housing units for civil servants. Also, during that budget defense, we got to know that Anambra State government is planning to invest 200 million in procurement of endangered fruit trees, likes of Okwa and Co. And that is going to happen in 2026. And yesterday, it was a turn of the Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development. And guess what? The commissioner in charge of this very ministry, talking about Ifeobinabo, she disclosed that in the year 2025, that ministry has entertained over 4,000 cases of gender-based violence and child protection. and she's saying they were able to use alternative dispute resolution ADR to resolve some of them, about 3,000 of them, and some have been charged to court, and they have been able to secure some convictions, about 400 of them, from January to December this year. But the number 4,000 cases of gender-based violence and child protection in the year 2025, that tells you what is going on in different families in Anambra State and then in Nigeria in general.
It's really unfortunate. All right, then Dr. Tony Olisa Mbeki is here also. Good morning, Tony.
Good morning, Chisom. Good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, the good people of Southeast. Good morning, in Anambra. Good morning, in Onitsha. Good morning, in Dosimo. Good morning, everyone. It's a beautiful Wednesday morning, and we are here to do what we know how best to do. And then we are back to look at some of the developing stories. And we must also raise and then every time commit ourselves to God Almighty for His mercy for everything He has done for us. And we welcome you. We look at some of these issues and then we tell you we are always in this sanctuary to profess the truth and nothing but the truth. You're welcome.
Absolutely. We're going to first tell you what the front pages of the papers say. Right after that, we dive into the conversation proper. On our table this morning, we have the Vanguard, the Nation, we have the Guardian and the Punch newspapers. Starting with the Vanguard newspaper this morning, FG limits bidder to 2 oil blocks on page 20. The major headline here on page 5. Airspace violations. Nigeria, Sahel states differ over detained aircraft soldiers. About 11 soldiers have been detained, and the writers here say Nigerian military aircraft violated Burkina Faso airspace. Sahelian states. How France helped Benin foil coup d'etat. Macron's aid on page 9. FG to US delegation. We have security issues, not religious issues. That story is on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper. On page 13, Nigeria US ties re-treasured robust. That's from Sunday Diary. And Adeleke moves to Accord. Fibara joins APC on pages 10 and 12. Kidnapping children lesser evil than killing soldiers. That's from Sheikh Gumi on page 31. When things like this are said, I start to ask myself, do you really have to say everything that comes to your mind? Because what makes it right to start to think of a lesser and a bigger evil in kidnap and killing? It's really sick. Insecurity. Backstops on your desk. Onayeko, Sheikh Lemu, Khan, others tell Tinubu on page 9. And these are the stories you'd find on the Vanguard newspaper.
Okay, so on the front page of the Nation newspaper, we have the banner headline says Fubara joins APC as Adeleke picks Accord party ticket. Why we change parties by governors. That's the banner story or the banner headline on the front page of the Nation newspaper. Then you can see other headlines. EFCC quizzes ex-AGF Malami over alleged terrorism financing. It has a rider, my public record unblemished. I learned that he slept in EFCC custody yesterday because he was not able to meet bail applications or other bail conditions granted to him. They said there are about 18 charges against him. Things about what's it called again? Even terrorism financing, all of them leveled against him. So let's see how he's going to clear his name out of these very whole allegations. Education budget has risen by 1.98 trillion naira in 2 years, says Shetima. The story is on page 4 of the Nation newspaper. Fabemi, 860 terrorism convictions secured in 7 years. The story is on page 3. Fabemi is the AGF. 1,660 delegates to pick Oshun APC candidate December 13. The story is on page 5. ECOWAS lauds Nigeria for Benin Republic intervention. The story is on page 2 of the Nation newspaper. And the final story we have on the front page says, release my husband's autopsy report. Widow cries out. The story is on page 5. And this one says, a flight for Ekiti Airport. The story is on page 5 of the Nation newspaper.
All right, let's go to the Vanguard newspaper. We have the banner headline on page 6. It's about Fubara and Adeleke again. It says, Fubara, Adeleke's exit shatters embattled PDP dims 2027 hopes. TCN faces reps panel hinges instability on vandalism gas shortage on page 5. TIV communities file 100 billion naira suit against Taraba government. Army over alleged forceful land seizure on page 30. Shoyinka condemns military intervention in Benin. Lagos demolitions on page 2. Nigeria faces more shortages. Canada rolls out express entry for doctors on page 2. Some persons are arguing that it's not going to be Uhuru yet because a Nigeria trained doctor is not automatically qualified to work in Canada. But then there are things the person needs to do. A few exams here and there, and it's a lot easier to move to Canada. Now, the most important thing is that with this declaration, it means that the doors are open. Do the needful, and you come in. And here at home, it's not looking good. So the implication is that a lot of doctors are going to simply buy into this initiative, whatever it is it takes for greener pastures. I mean, look at the fact that the working condition is nothing to write home about. The remuneration, nothing to write home about. Your life even is, I mean, look at infrastructure, security. You should get where this entire alarm is coming from. And also, ECOWAS lauds Nigeria for foiling Benin coup attempt on page 3. Senate holds WAEC curriculum change over concerns for 2026 candidates on page 3. Insecurity has no religious undertone. Fagbemi tells visiting U.S. delegates on page 5. Aid accuses Cross River local government chairman of mismanagement, nepotism on page 29.
Okay, so that very story about Shoyinka condemning military deployments in Benin Republic. In fact, he said a lot yesterday. And if you go to X now, you see that he's trending as number one. Not him trending, actually. The person trending is Sheyi Tinubu, the son of Mr. President. And if you go into the trend, you will see that it's all about that statement which was made by Olisa Mbeki yesterday, where he said, and I just wanted to take this very quotation, he said, President Tinubu didn't have to send the Air Force and the military to stop the coup in Benin. He should have sent his son, Sheyi Tinubu, instead. He's talking about the kind of security personnel he saw attached to Sheyi Tinubu, and he tried to make joke out of it during that very ceremony that had yesterday in Lagos. So we move to the Punch newspaper. Beside the nameplate, PDP rages as Fubara joins APC. Adeleke shift to Accord Party. The story is on page 7 and the 20 of the Punch newspaper. The banner headline says, Governors versus NMPC. Tension rise over alleged $42 billion oil revenue shortfall. The story is on page 2. It has a rider, NMPC, governors auditors trade blows over $42 billion under remittance accusation. FAC steps in, seeks review. And the headline says the rep summons ministers over budget underperformance. The story is on page 21. I think there was an engagement with the minister for the economy and the minister of budget yesterday with the House of Reps, where they said they are going to withhold certain activities because government has failed to give explanation on why the 2025 budget has underperformed when it comes to capital releases. Probe EFCC detains ex-AGF Malami. The story is on page 20. And the last story says ECOWAS fears a coup surge. Burkina Faso holds Nigerian soldiers. The story is on page 2 and 20. I learned that the soldiers have been released for them to continue their mission.
You know, when you spoke about Sheyi Tinubu and the statement that Wole Soyinka made, there's been this talk about whether security officials that were supposed to be recalled from VIPs was actually done. In the words of Soyinka and some other persons that have noted that the kind of security detail that Sheyi Tinubu moves about with, you would think probably the president is moving around or something. I mean, the fact that you say VIPs should be withdrawn, recalled from people, except for people who are constitutionally supposed to have them, is still a question. For me, I find it really appalling because the people who are supposed to feel the impact of insecurity and move to end insecurity still have police protection. And then Sheyi Tinubu is there gallivanting with his own long entourage. And there are also speculations and rumors out there that what the president said has not been adhered to. That instead, these VIPs move about with their police details, now wearing mufti.
Well, Sheyi Tinubu is said to be the most powerful Nigerian youth now, because many persons believe that they can get things from the presidency or from the federal government through him. That's why wherever he goes, if you see the kind of entourage he goes about with, and at the same time, if you have seen him at any event with the president, you understand the kind of role he played in this very government. I recall when they came to Oka, I can recall the way he took eminent position in the organization of things around the father that very day. But the thing is this, we have a culture in Nigeria whereby once we elect a chief executive, every member of the family becomes very important person, to the point that they begin to enjoy certain perks coming from government. We're not saying that the first family are not entitled to certain things, but when it becomes excess, that becomes the concerns of Nigerians.
That becomes the concerns of Africans. Look around. It's like a black man problem. But of course, we're not going to spend so much time on that. We're going to move on to the really important matters on our desk today, because yesterday, Fubara joined the APC. Adeleke picked up a court party ticket. He actually said he's been with the Accord Party for approximately 1 month now, and he is just officially announcing. And Fubara officially announced yesterday. So, Tony, I'm pretty sure that when you saw Fubara's official announcement, you didn't move, you didn't flinch, because I recall from day one, even before he was recalled, you prophesied that it is only going to be one solution. Stay away for some time, then we have conversations. When you come back, when you're reinstated, you cross carpet to the APC. And by virtue of doing that, the entire political structure of River State falls to the APC. But first, I am going to play an audio of the things Fubara said yesterday. And right after that, we get into the conversation proper. So you will hear Fubara for yourselves.
To brief you on the situation of things in our state, which I believe he has taken note and is going to act swiftly on it. But the most interesting part of the meeting is that what you all have been waiting for, what you've been asking me, the signal has finally arrived. I will only thank you, so Mr. President, is to support it. And we cannot support Mr. President in isolation. And we can't support Mr. President if we don't fully identify with him, not backyard support. So we have taken that decision today since we've gotten a pass. Everyone here who have followed me, who have suffered with me, our decision today, this evening, we are moving to APC.
So, Tony, I'm pretty sure that you saw this coming. You said it over and over on this platform. What next, now that he has moved to the APC officially?
We have just seen what just like everybody know. But most important thing is just that I did say something about this many months back. I can't recall, just like you recall that I once, not just a prophecy, I just did say that it was going to be that way. And they have all fallen. I did say that of Enugu before it happened, the Pitamba, even when many were not thinking in that direction. Didn't it happen? It did. I spoke about that of Bayelsa State Governor, Diuduro. Didn't it happen? Even before many people thought about it. It happened. And then even Kefa Sabo, his own is up in the lineup of equations. And we saw that of Fubara. So, and remember, there was a time I said the entire South will collapse into APC, and it has come to fulfillment. It's a question of time. Most times we see things even before these things manifest or even happen. And while talking about Fubara, we know that it's going to happen, but it was just a question of time But to be honest with you, he has shown duplicitous and genus-faced political disposition. We've seen him many times castigating APC, saying a number of things about APC, but to be honest, I can even recall some of these statements Fubara made against APC. Let me, go back to dates. I remember when he accused APC of bad governance on economic hardship. That was sometime around July 2024. When he was talking about fuel removal, I think subsidy removal, and he said that the APC's removal of fuel subsidy brought untold suffering to Rivers people. And they say that this is not leadership, it's abandonment. But then he went on to say quite a lot of things. In fact, when the lawmakers, the first time they defected to APC, they defected. They came back. They, at the point, they redefected again. So it's just traffic they have caught in there. But I remember when they defected for the first time, that was in 2023. It was December 13, 2023, when the pro-wicked lawmakers in River State defected to APC. Fubara described these lawmakers defecting as not heroes. He called them traitors, bought with federal bribes. That's what Fubara called these lawmakers. Traitors, bought with federal bribes. And he went on to say that APC is corrupting our democracy, one defection at a time, turning elected representatives into puppets for Abuja agenda. That was the Fubara people thought had integrity, and when he was making those statements, you see cheers, in fact, you see a lot of applauses coming from people, but the same Fubara, see, time is a leveler. Time
is it really time, Tony, or are we going to squarely look at how the executive and its would I call it absolute power in certain ways have brought about an erosion of ideology in Nigerian politics? I ask this question because Fubara came across as someone who is in politics with an ideology. And one thing that you have always spoken up about, is the fact that the Nigerian political space lacked true ideology. Our politicians lacked true ideology, and so they just moved anywhere the wind blew them. But regardless of this, do you not think that there is something happening up there at the center, forcing this erosion of ideologies? I'm twisting Fubara into doing this.
If you understand the meaning of ideology, Chisom, you will marvel. You cannot defeat ideology. No force defeats any ideology. If somebody is ingrained with ideology, he dies with it. So, what we saw in Fubara, his politics is ideologically mercurial. He is changed from one position to another with the ease of someone who has never held a conviction for more than a moment. In public, he poses as a reformer before 2024, during 2023. Yet, in private, Fubara bargains with the very forces he condemns, proving himself a duplicitous and genus-faced politician. That's what Fubara is. So, I know very well that he approaches governance with an ethically invertebrate posture, but bending to whichever side promises him that kind of protection and the satisfaction he usually seeks. For the man is politically protein, reinventing himself at every turn, simply to remain relevant in the corridors of power. So don't speak about ideology. Fubara has no ideology. He actually acted as if he had one. He pretended as if he had one. People die with the ideology. So he never had one.
You think what happened with a sitting governor in a democratic government being suspended and a sole administrator put in place is not enough to untwist a man with ideology?
The truth remains, when he was suspended, I recall he made some statements against his suspension, but at the same time, I think that was emergency rule during that was March 2025. He said that his suspension was a clear assault on democratic process and a dangerous precedent that threatens the autonomy of state. And he went further to call APC government out. He said the APC federal government is using emergency powers not for security, but to settle political scores and install puppets in PDP strongholds like Rivers. That's Fubara's statement. That was when people thought he had what you think. I, for once, said it for those who had followed me. Not here. I said, this man you people think he is this. He is not.
All right.
I was the one that said that in the morning, he preaches one thing. At night, he does another thing. I said some of these things for those who can pull up all my statements about the man Fubara. So he has just shown the kind of person he is. He most time tried as much as he could to appease those who listen to him. He tried to be a demagogue. We saw that, but that is just his character.
All right, so let's quickly take a look at what becomes of River State politics with what just happened, because you just pointed out that the entire thing that happened has not just brought Rivers, but the entire South to the knees right before the APC. And so I am wondering what becomes of Rivers politics, what becomes of stability in the political circle in River State.
You know, politicians have decided to prepare their pathways for 2027 comeback. You know why Fubara is doing this? He's actually indirectly begging for tickets for 2027. Remember, Wiki had put it up to him that you will be allowed to serve at a term. Yes, but coming back is out of the equation, is out of the card. But what he's trying to do is to see if he can bend the certain forces, to see reason for him to be back and also become the puppet he had always been. You know, Wike knows him quite well that this is not a man. He knew the deals he had with him. I recall when he said that the wind will blow and the foul ass will be seen. He made those statements giving some people hope. People thought that he will blow some of the things Wike did, but Wike knew that he was committed in those things. So his hands were soiled as just as Wike's hands. But in any case, you ask what becomes of River State politics. It's going to be the people of River State and the masses. Yes, the politicians have chosen to be where they are. And one thing you know for sure is that one man seems to control both APC and the PDP in that very state. And he has been doing that. Look at 16 lawmakers defecting to APC. There are other ones who are still in PDP. And Wike said he's going to work with other lawmakers. He designed it so. He did it so that it would look as if that it was not something unorchestrated. So he asked those who will join APC to do, he asked other people to remain in PDP so that he will retain the control of the two parties in River State, that is PDAPC. So it is going to be the people of River State and the APC or PDAPC. But as I'm looking at it, the truth remains that everybody is gearing up for 2027. Atiku camp has told P2B, make up your mind. If you don't want to make up your mind, Rotimi Chibuike will be picked as the running mate to Atiku. So, and the P2B camp hasn't responded to such statement credited to Atiku camp. So, Atiku camp, they just put out open check to P2B. You are the man we want. But you have to make up your mind as early as possible, because if you do not, Rotimi Chibuike is on the line. But, and he's also from the River State. Can likes of Rotimi Chibuike swear the people on the side of the opposition party? Because the opposition party they're going to have now is ADC. PDP and APC are working hand in hand in River State. So they are together, they are one and the same. But can ADC have any eventful time or eventful outing in River State? Time shall tell. The people shall be the one that will decide that if they will toe the line of Atiku Abubakar with his ADC or remain in PDAPC in River State. But I'm seeing that they have a code of winning election, and that code was manifested in last election, general election, 2023 general election, where they turned a lot of things. They turned the wind the other way around, and that was how Tinubu won that very state. Even BBC said, no, he did not win. But even many Nigerians said he did not win, but he was declared winner of that very state by Independent National Electoral Commission.
Okay, so let me continue from where we start, because Chisom asked a question about who Fubara is, whether he was a principal man or not. I can recall that in the heat of that very political crisis in River State, he continued to frame himself as somebody who cares about what the people think or want, or who cares about what the people think. I want to make reference to what he said. He at the point in time, he said that governorship of River State was a mandate and not a personal commodity. According to him, it is one that belongs to the people and should not be surrendered to intimidation, blackmail, and money hungers. I recall when he also said that he will not surrender our mandate to blackmail, intimidation, and deliberate sabotage, just to mention a few things that he said during that very time. But now you look at what has happened to him, and you're asking yourself whether he surrendered to intimidation or not. I looked at his speech where he said two things made him to leave the PDP. One, he said PDP did not protect him, and secondly, the Mr. President has been like a father to him, that if it wasn't for Mr. President, for now, he would have been an ex-governor of Rivers State, and that's why he has to move into the APC so that he can offer his full support for Mr. President. Now, the first question is, let's even interrogate that very statement he made that PDP did not protect him. Can we actually say that PDP did not protect him when he was having that political crisis in Rivers State? That's number one. The number two is the issue of a question similar to what Chisom asked, but now in a different way. Now I'm looking at it from the point of what this defection portends for Fubara. We know the political situation in Rivers State where Wike wants to be in PDP, but he wants to control PDP, control APC, and any other thing that happens in Rivers State politically. That is the kind of structure he wants. He wants to have that structure under his control so that he can call the shot. He can decide who becomes a minister, who becomes a House of Rep member, who becomes a member of the State House of Assembly. That's what Wike wants. So that structure, he doesn't want it to be tampered with. And if what we have in the public domain is anything to go by, the genesis of the problem between him and Fubara is the issue of who is going to control structure. Wike thought that he was going to build his own structure outside what he controls, and that was where the problem started. So now that we have seen Fubara move into the APC ahead of Wike is in the PDP, and from what we have seen so far, all the governors who have moved into the APC, once you move in, you become the leader of the party in that very state, and they hand over the party leadership to you. Now, in the case of Fubara, is that going to happen? And if that happens, or whether it doesn't happen, how does he position Fubara politically in Rivers State, given the political situation you have in that very state and that failed battle he put up for the emancipation of his personal self and whoever he thought he was fighting for?
Fubara is a man that has been drowned. Nobody's going to hand any. He has no structure to look up to. Not to talk about handing some structure to him. What structure are you going to hand to him? So he has made a number of statements. Let's begin by the first, that PDP did not protect him. That's not true. PDP instituted a suit challenging his suspension and the declaration of emergency rule in that very state. Until date, Supreme Court, our own Supreme Court, has not even given judgment for more than 6 months. A political issue that should have been given urgency, that should have been given expeditiously. In fact, the kind of acceleration one would have thought that would have a way of trying to bring orderliness in that very state. But we saw Supreme Court, they know the truth, but probably they wanted to buy time. Yes, as they did in the case of Osun local government funds, where you ruled on the issue of autonomy, that funds meant for any local government must not be withheld by anybody. Paid into anybody's account, must be paid directly into the account of the local government. But what happened? The presidency held back such funds against your judgment, and all you could do is to advise them to obey your judgment. Then what makes you a court? But that is by the way. So let's not go there. I don't want to go there. But the truth remains that PDP did as much as it could have done. They couldn't have done any other thing apart from going to court. That they did. Fubara, I don't want to use some very uncouth words. And after that, what else? that you are living there. The president has been like a father. See, there were governors. Wike as a governor fought Buhari. And while he was doing that, there were other political forces in River State fighting him. One thing is that probably he's a learner. He doesn't know how to do some of these political gymnastics. He doesn't know how to, by pulling down the secretariat. You don't need to do all those things. You don't need. And at the same time, not even making sure that you have a light at the court before doing that. Most things, of course, there are things he did. He started by going to court, like the issue of budget, where he presented to 4 lawmakers, where he had run to court. Court asked him to go on and do that. But in fact, while you are doing that with the state high court, you must also prepare your grounds at appeal level. I'm not here because their courts have become what they are. You must prepare your grounds. See, you know what really caused big blow to him was the grip Wike had on judiciary, and how the Supreme Court, the same Supreme Court, dealt with him mercilessly. You know, it started with Justice Joyce Abdul Malik of the Federal High Court, and before he got to Appeal Court gave him reprieve. He saw hope in the judgment of Appeal Court. But the Supreme Court will always be what it is. It will always be what it is. And each time any matter comes before Supreme Court and the presidency has an interest, it will always be what it is. I don't know anything, but I know it will be what it will be. So we have seen that. You know, can you let me, or can you tell me any judgment they have made where the presidency has an interest and it goes against the interest? No. The Supreme Court, it will always be what it is. I'm not accusing them of anything.
Tony,
so
now that we have Fubara in the APC alongside 70 members of the River State House of Assembly, do you see any change in relationship between the executive and the legislature, notwithstanding that the loyalty of the two arms lie differently?
Are you talking about executive of River State and legislature of River State?
Exactly.
There is no executive in River State. I've said it. I said it yesterday.
No.
What
What do they have there?
What they have there is that they have a council where they come and hold their meetings, and before they hold their meeting, they must have sent briefs. They must have told the real executive power that stays in Abuja what they want to do, how they want to do it. We give them permission, go on and do it.
All right.
See, there are brothers and sisters. There is, if you talk about Martin Amehule and Fubara, they are brothers. One is, there's not even like they are twin. Nobody has any edge above each other. So they are serving the same master, they are serving the same father. So they are equal. They coexist equally as the things we are seeing in River State stand. They coexist equally. So nobody should, if I think of any respect from anybody, we know. And we are where we are, and we serve the same master. So they are brothers. Don't even think of any relationship.
All right.
No.
Let's round off on this conversation. And the last question I'll be throwing to you, Tony, is what this actually means for 2027. Does this give the APC any major advantage come 2027 elections? And of course, knowing fully well that all of these annexations from different parts of the country in terms of getting the governors and some political bigwigs to fall under the APC is a strategy. But does that give any due advantage? Because everyone is entitled to just one vote on that day.
Of course, it gives them advantage. It will be very, very unpolitical, and at the same time, with every sense of dishonesty to say that they don't have advantage. APC has advantage. Governors will mobilize for votes. They will use funds to mobilize for votes. Some will target number of votes. If all of them could mobilize about 200,000 votes, put them together, it gives them advantage. So what would make APC not to win in most of these states will be where the people have collectively made a decision. Decision. That's the only way.
How many Nigerians can actually make a voting decision and money is flinged and they will stand firm?
That is just the question.
We cannot board.
That is the question. That is just the question, because if you look at it, like in the north, Atiku may have his field day. Here he may have his field day. There's no doubt. But what about the southern part of the country? But people are saying that if P2B goes into it, joint ticket with Atiku, then he could shake south. But at article with advantage of their political pundits who are making such predictions. But you asked important question: does this defection confer advantage on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and on APC? The answer is yes.
All right, then we go on a break now and attend to some commercials. When we come back, we look into some other matter. The issue with Benin Republic and the soldiers sent and the detention is still top on the headlines this morning. Keep it locked.
Udala Radio, 104.7 FM.
When the city sleeps, the river remembers. When the drums call, Onitsha awakens. This December, the call grows louder as Udala Radio joins forces with the Golibe Festival 2025. From December 26th to New Year's Day, the heartbeat of the East comes alive. Music, laughter, art, culture, and the unstoppable joy of homecoming. This year promises more energy, more color, more connection. A festival for every proud son and daughter of Igbo land. Stay tuned to Udala Radio, your front row seat to the celebration that never fades. Golibe Festival 2025. Exclusive media support by Udala Radio. It's not just a festival, it's who we are.
mana dịka nwafọ Naija nwoke maọbụ nwaanyị ebe ugbu a ị kwesịrị ime onye na-akpọ gị n'ekwentị. Ohere na-abịa sọ naanị otu ugboro, mana nke bụ ezigbo ajụjụ dị na ya bụ ị ga-adịkwa na njikere. Ekwekwala ka ohere ọzọ ganarị. Lee anya otu kọlụ ziri ezi nwere ike ịgbanwe ndụ gị. Tinye Truecaller app n'ekwentị gị tata, mara onye na-akpọ gị, hụ na ịtụfughị ohere ịnweta otu kọlụ ahụ nwere ike ịgbanwe ihe niile. Truecaller, za ezigbo oku.
Your investment is just one drop. On its own, it can only do so much. Now, imagine 1 million more drops. This is the power of First Asset Money Market Fund and First Asset Dollar Fund. They pool your money with others to create a powerful flow, giving you access to great earning opportunities. Call 0201-889-4444 now to start with 5,000 Naira, $100 or more. Let us build wealth together. The First Asset Money Market Fund and First Asset Dollar Fund are registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission Nigeria. Please read the prospectus and where in doubt, consult your investment advisor, stockbroker, fund or portfolio manager, accountant, banker, solicitor, or any other professional advisor for guidance before subscribing.
Merry Christmas from all of us.
Udala Radio
104.7.
Now hear the Christmas Day sweet past. Let's go. Bells they ring for the street tonight. Children they dance on the Christmas light. Mama they cook jollof, aroma they rise. Yeah. For they smile, joyfully miles. No no they for body love they warm. Afro be breathing happiness don't come. Oh, from Onitsha city to every home. Now celebrity shine food is on. It's a Udala Christmas. Oh, everybody gather make we jollof. Up the tree, let it shine, let it shine. Love for the season, make we share, make we bind. From morning to night, Udala hold you tight. Now Christmas magic, pure delight. Udala, Udala, Christmas the sweet, oh Udala, Udala, feel the beat, oh. From all of us at Udala Radio.
Ekeresimesi a wetala anyị aṅụle na obi ụtọ. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from all of us at Udala Radio 104.7 FM, the voice of the region.
You're listening to the Polity. Get involved now.
The next conversation on our desk this morning is about what happened in Benin Republic, where we sent troops to foil the coup attempt. As much as we are also getting reports that France played a key role in making sure that it wasn't a success, a lot of interpretations have been given, a lot of calls have been made, and a lot of speculations have also been made. But I'm going to take this story from the Vanguard newspaper. And of course, the Vanguard is reporting that there are conflicting accounts that trailed the detention of a Nigerian Air Force NAF C-130 plane and 11 soldiers on board in Bobo Dioulasso, Burkina Faso. The Hercules aircraft and its occupants were detained by the Burkinabe government on Monday, with the crew having been accused of entering the country's airspace without clearance. While NAF claims its crew landed the aircraft in Burkina Faso due to critical concerns, Burkina Faso, one of the three Sahelian states that pulled out of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, recently disagreed. This is just a matter on one side of what has been going on lately since that failed coup in Benin Republic. And of course, Tony, looking at the fact that in recent times, a couple of countries in this part of the world have tried to, or have been taken over by military rule. Speaking about Niger, speaking about Burkina Faso now, that attempted, not also forgetting that just about a month ago, there were allegations that there was an attempted coup here in Nigeria. And as much as we haven't had anything clearly stated from that side of the story, there is a clear concern. Something is really going wrong in the African continent, so much so that the military keeps feeling a need to step in and set things right. Or maybe not, but something is going wrong. So let's stay with what is happening in Benin Republic and, of course, emerging reports from Burkina Faso.
I think from what we know and from what we've gathered, Africa or African countries that are just what they are, you know, the kind of democracy they are practicing is quite different from the ones practiced out there. And I just said like yesterday that out there they practice democracy of accountability. But here we practice democracy of embezzlement. That's what we practice here. Democracy of privilege. Once you are in there, you are in there. I don't know, you can imagine what Shoinka was actually making or saying, that you cannot, because of your proximity to the state's power, you inherit quite, but he's talking anyway, many Nigerians know where he starts anyway. He's talking about Chey Tinubu, and I listen to you guys when you are having banter on that. But not just Chey Tinubu, what about governors' sons and daughters? You're talking about Chey Tinubu because his father is the president. In fact, if you go on X, you see how security men, in fact, the very vehicle he's inside, 4 men, 2 position in front, 2 position at the back, with other convoy, other vehicles in the convoy. We've seen that it's trending, but there are governors, daughters and sons who are doing the same. In Akwa Ibom, the governor, if you smile at the governor very well, he will dash you a vehicle.
Well, he dashed somebody 100 million facility.
I think that the very person you're talking about is the person who is fiscally challenged. I think the person
put him on a 1 million.
That one is commendable. I'm talking about times past governors from before you know it, will dash all the past governors' vehicle. Remodel their. In fact, they are using state funds the way they want. That is what I call politics of embezzlement and politics of privilege. You don't use state funds the way you want in any of these countries we borrow democracy from. State funds must be used for what they are meant for. And in any case, you don't hold those funds because they have checks and balances. Those who are gonna do, the only role you may have to do is just to sign your signature that you are aware that this is going because it has been budgeted, execution is taking place. You don't decide quite a lot of things. All these things are done consensually. But here, Governor 6 as an emperor decides, the contractor decides, even when you have the necessary laws that says that these contractors have to bid, the procurement law, those things are not followed. Those things are just there. Who monitors? Who cares? Forget those things. Politics of embezzlement, politics of privilege. But there, politics of accountability. You must account for every kobo. You see them running away from the funds because they know that by being too close to public funds, it can also bring you down. It can also mar your political journey. So they are careful with it. Once it is public fund, they try as much as possible to be very careful. In UK, there's what we call them, the person who manages their funds, Chancellor of what? Esquire. You will see how many of them do resign once funds are not appropriately utilized, not even accounted for. They account for it. Probably there is underutilization of what they have set out to do. The things they have mapped out did not go exactly or perfectly the way they wanted. So the point is, we've seen why many people will want to be there. Even the military that are coming up, they are not better off. Because they want to also take their own share. Oh, these people, they have had the privilege of taking their own share. The military will think of their own share to come and do it in their own way. See, military is no savior.
That's on the side of the coup, because I asked you 2 questions, or even 3. On the side of the coup, what has been happening, and of course, they are sent now by the Senate for Nigerian military to intervene on one side, and on the other side is the flight that was supposedly en route to Portugal that was detained in Burkina Faso, and what you make of it, especially when it was not a competent flight.
You wouldn't say whether it was a competent or not.
That's
competent.
what NAF has said. That's what Nigerian Air Force has said.
That's what they have said. You give them their
benefit of doubt.
That is just that. But many of us knew that may not really be the case, because we saw how craft was deployed to Benin Republic. What the flight in question, was he going to Portugal to do? Did anybody ask that question?
Well, a part of that report I cited, if everything serves me right, was saying something about it going on a drop-off. That was the word.
Drop off. What is drop off?
Exactly. That's
to
the question.
Drop somebody off.
To drop the flight itself off for maintenance. But then the question some persons have been asking is: are you saying this flight was going for a drop off for maintenance? Why did it need to have 11 officials?
And apart from having 11 officials, why would a flight in view comprise of our own military men done in their uniform? You want to wear your military uniform to Portugal? I don't want to say some things many Nigerians should be curious about, but let's leave it. The key thing is, it's good thing that Mr. President has made a formal request in line with Section 5, subsection 4 of the Constitution. I put it out yesterday that, in fact, if you're making any deployment outside the country, you must take a prior approval. And he has done that. We always know that whatever Mr. President requests from the Senate, he will get. Anything Mr. President wants the Senate to do, that will be done. Ababio will ensure it is done, whether it is in the interest of the nation or not, it will be done. So, for the fact that he has made a mistake, just like I said yesterday, he made a mistake. And he has realized that mistake. And he has done the needful by making such a formal request. And they approve it immediately. No debate. No question.
Say, yeah.
They approve it immediately. They are masters of Mr. President. Say aye, they will say aye. But Trump will not be watching this one. That's why they were quick to do that. But the one Trump will watch, they will have to tell you that Trump is watching this one, so we must do what we are supposed to do. So we must ensure a robust debate. But in any case, Mr. President has done right by making such requests in fulfillment, for records. Even if he had not made that request, nothing will happen. Nobody will say anything. But he has done that to put the record straight, because even the generation coming up, they will also review some of the things he has done and have their own way or their own say as far as these things are concerned. But in any case, I don't like the idea that most of us that point some of these things out, nothing will happen, but let's do the right thing.
Okay, Tony, let's look at this very point, because the request Mr. President made, which was approved by the Senate yesterday, was it a request for deployment of Nigerian military who are going to join ECOWAS troop in that very country, or request for deployment that was made to help Benin Republic to rise to the occasion of the coup that was attempted in that very country some days ago? You know, yesterday when we were talking about this, we made reference to a certain section of the 1999 Constitution which gives provision that in times of emergency, when there is an imminent threat to the national territorial, when there is an imminent threat to national security, that the president can deploy, soldiers after he must have spoken with the National Defense Council, and then within 7 days he can make requests to the Senate, and Senate has like 14 days for them to grant that. So from what we saw yesterday, can we say that the request made yesterday was for deployment that is going to happen, where our troops are going to join ECOWAS troop for stability maintenance in that country, or in respect to the one that was made ab initio?
I think from what we discovered, or what we can make out of what happened yesterday, we know the provisions of the law. The law is very, very explicit, the Constitution, and for you to make any deployment outside the country, you must get a prior permission. And if you are to make deployment within the country, or when the country has a security threat, you may make that and sometimes send the request, and they have their time to approve or grant it. So I think the one Mr. President sent yesterday was deployment of our troops to Benin Republic, and what they will do there depends on what they are going to see, because the country is trying to find a way to crush these mutineers, and many of them are on the run. Some have been apprehended, and there is also tension, there is fear in those countries. So they are going to help to quell the fear, to give confidence to the combatant soldiers who are there to protect President Talon, that they are here to help, to bring normalcy in that very country, at least to show that very support needed. So that's what Mr. President sent to the National Assembly yesterday for. I mean, the request is sent to the National Assembly for. So that taking our troops away, before you know it, they will be in Benin Republic, and they will also work jointly with the Benin armed forces as they would want them to do. So it will give them more support in area of intelligence, technical know-how, and what have you, and even physical presence. So,
okay, so going further, because Nigerians have been debating the necessity or propriety of this very troops deployment to Benin Republic. Some persons will tell you that on your that your house cannot be on fire and you are somewhere playing Big Brother to some other countries. But the government has been insisting on the fact that Nigeria shares a boundary with Benin Republic, and they are within the semi-ECOWAS region, that what happens to Benin Republic can affect Nigeria. If there is instability in Benin Republic, it can cause security issues around our borders, and that's why it is responding very well. So do you see a germane reason from the point of government that whatever the federal government is doing is because that once there's instability in that very country, it can encroach into Nigeria?
I think that's just one of the flimsiest of the reasons. When you see danger, don't you know danger? Or do you make hypotheses about danger? What do you call instability? If there is a change of government, what kind of instability would it cause? If most countries' military took over.
You know that Mali, at the point, Mali was angling that France should leave. Likewise, Burkina Faso, that they should leave.
That's the government, the military government there.
That they can handle themselves.
Yeah, the military government
and
there.
we know how ISWAP and other terrorist activities grew after France left, to the point that these terrorists were circulating around border areas of Burkina Faso and Mali. So can we equate this to what could possibly happen in the case of Benin Republic?
You cannot equate anything until you have credible intelligence that this is the problem. You can't just sit down and say, I'm doing this because of any eventuality that could be this or could be that. You don't use could when you are dealing with danger. You don't use could. You act on credible intelligence. So is there any credible intelligence that points that there will be instability there? Is there any credible intelligence? You don't just act on hypotheses. You don't. There must be a credible intelligence that you are acting on. So, is there anyone? So, since there is none, forget what all these things we are saying. There's none.
Do you think, Tony, that whatever it is about this cool flu that is spreading across sub-Saharan Africa is one of the reasons why the government is doing what it is doing in Benin Republic? Because this flu has almost gotten to Nigeria. As much as we didn't have any formal statements made the last time, it was rumored that there were some officers who planned such in Nigerian military. We were told some persons were arrested, and we were told it was because of some fallouts over remunerations and all of that. Do you actually think that there is something the government is hiding? There is a fear lurking somewhere, making this government act on what is happening in Benin to sort of tell the people or the soldiers in Nigeria, if you've got plans like this, we can also take care of you this way?
I think the issue is that Nigeria is playing Big Brother West Africa. That's what is going on. And remember, when you talk about West Africa, the headquarters is in Abuja. And apart from that, and the president has good relationship with Benin Republic.
So he's not afraid of anything happening internally.
Of course.
I'm trying to make a statement with this.
He has made a statement because when there was this very suspicion of coup d'etat, we saw about 16 generals being arrested. Military always make it as a routine statement on daily basis that anybody who in any way, and one thing you should know is this, it will be very difficult for one to have a successful coup in Nigeria. If you look at what happened in Benin Republic, where some members of the presidential guard did what they did, if you look at some of this coup, it started with the presidential guards being compromised. Once the presidential guards are compromised, it means that they can, and with the support of some military leaders manning different strategic divisions and all that. See, it will be very difficult. And that was one of the things Obasanjo did when we came back to civilian regime in 1999. We didn't do that in 1979. That was why it was easy for Buhari and his military junta to take over power in 1983, December 31st. But now, so many things were decentralized. Even if you look at the Gideon Orca coup, the one sponsored by so many people, you saw how they were able to see. Before you organize or you have a queue, you must conquer a number of places, which will be very difficult because it is something done timely. It's something done timely, quickly. So it is, once you have such if the president fortifies, in fact, the presidential guard, the way it is composed, the guards, those that usually sing on your mandate, the band, they are from the guards. The president is a kind of, what I call it, I don't want to call it division. I don't want to use maybe on military language, and that's why every president in Nigeria makes sure that the person who mans it and takes all the executive positions are his brothers. Yes. Why do you think most presidents, once they become president, they make sure that the chief of army staff usually comes from his own place, but they can also give chief of defense staff to another region. They will give chief of defense staff to another region and make sure they retain chief of army staff. Why do you think they do so of recent? And not just one. And at the same time, why do you think that even some strategic positions like armory and some of these things, they make sure that the people who man those things, they relate with them or they are from his own side? And apart from that, why do you think that the 45 presidential guard, that it is totally impregnable? I forget it. It is going to be very difficult. But just as it's going to be very difficult, nothing is, given for, given to whatever thing you call it. Nothing is actually given to any iota of eventuality. But the point remains that it is difficult.
So nothing is left to chance.
No. Yeah, even at that, nothing is left to chance, but it's quite difficult to organize a coup in Nigeria to topple a Nigerian president. Do you think some military people, the way, if it is possible, they would have done it before now? If it is possible from 1999, they would have done it before now. Why do you think we have the longest stretch of democracy? Because of the way these things were recalibrated, reconstituted, reformatted, dispatched with, some of the, you can't have a central armory now. It cannot. Before now it was somewhere where it took look of 3 places to capture. In fact, they even asked most times, look at the one that happened in Benin Republic, his old pattern. You go and capture state television house.
Broadcast.
That was the way it used to be in Nigeria. Because I remember when Buhari was the throne, it was a palace. When he was the throne, and there was, Abacha has been loyal. He passed through different ranks. In fact, there was never a rank Abacha mixed, and he was loyal to whoever he served until he became the head of state. And usually he's the one that goes to the press to even announce the coup. But the point I'm trying to make is difficult, very, very difficult to have such kind of thing in Nigeria. But the presidency and the military, they keep making the statement that cannot be tolerated, that cannot be condoned here.
All right, then we take a break now. We'll attend to some commercials. When we come back, we open up the phone lines and you get to have your say. Keep it locked.
Udala Radio, 104.7 FM.
Quality bread, Wendy's bread, for your family breakfast. Wendy's bread, I'll pack it on the yellow. Wendy's bread, mama, papa, they like Wendy's bread, chicken and do. Wendy's bread, even children, they like Wendy's bread, Wendy's bread, and in town. Wendy's bread, you get it better, tasty, we go sweet your belly. Wendy's bread, Wendy's
Wendy's bread, tasty bread. You can contact us on our official address, 2nd Business Park, Enugu Road, GRA, beside Onitsha, Anambra State. We also have another branch at St. Michael Plaza at Tani Road. Also contact us on 070-1149-1571. Wendy's bread, your tasty bread.
Wendy's bread.
When you think of roofing, think of strength. When you think of durability, think of beauty. And when you think of all 3 combined, think Best Aluminium MFG Limited. At Best Aluminium, we don't just manufacture roofing sheets. We create protection, comfort, and style for your home and business. Whether you're building from scratch or repairing an old roof, we have exactly what you need. Our products include stone-coated roofing sheets, aluminum roofing sheets, and colored roofing sheets. But that's not all. We also offer residential and commercial roofing services, roof repairs, gutters, emergency roofing services, and even durable cookwares that bring quality to your kitchen. Visit us today at 30/32 Anyika Street, Awada Obosi, Anambra State, or call us right now on 0806-416-2374 or 0706-059-6203. With Best Aluminium, you're investing in peace of mind, in beauty, and in the future of your home. Because when it comes to roofing, the best choice is always Best Aluminium MFG Limited. Tomorrow's technology today.
From the streets of Lagos to the heart of Anambra, the rhythm returns home. This December 28th, Oka will breathe in rhythm and shine in gold. Lagos Jump Off 3.0, the homecoming edition, featuring Annie Dons Onyechaka, Ilblaze Jarek, Mr. Raw, Slow Dog, Charles Okocha, PB Ninja, Ivata, Diamond Okechi, Eaglet Devinson, Casey Kubana, MC Monica, Agwefi I Go Talk, Slim Shady, Wada, Ejai Kwamba, Go2 Onitsha, Hype Man Extraordinary, Harry B, Hype AO Machine, DJ Fresh Omen, DJ Alonso, DJ Spin Daddy, DJ Factor, DJ Fabuloso, VVIP table 3 million naira, VIP table 2 million naira, regular table 1 million naira, cocktail table 300,000 naira, standalone or walking guest 150,000 naira. For reservation and inquiries, do call 0913-484-4336 or +1970 258-0990. Lagos Jump Off 3.0, the homecoming, December 28th, Anambra State. This event is proudly packaged by CNN Entertainment. Be there.
ụbọchị dum jupụtara n'ọtụtụ ihe omume mana ego gị nọ nkịtị ebe ọ dị. Ọ bụrụkwanụ na nrụsi ọrụ ike dịka ị na-eme kwụsịlata n'oge a mee ka ego gị rọrụ gị ọrụ sonye n'amụma First Asset Money Market Fund na First Asset Dollar Fund ma nweghachita ihe dị mma jiri naanị $500 $100 wee malite ngwa kpọọ akara 08064945838 ka ị malite ịmụba ego gị ka anyị gbakọ akụnụba anyị ọnụ edebanyere aha First Asset Money Market Fund na First Asset Dollar Fund n'akwụkwọ ụlọ ọrụ Securities and Exchange Commission Nigeria biko gụọ akwụkwọ mgbazi oluso ya ma ebe ọbụla ị na-enwe obi abụọ kpọtụrụ onye investment advisor, stockbroker, fund maọbụ portfolio manager, accountant, banker, solicitor maọbụ onye ọzọ ma ihe a na-akọ ka o duzie gị tupu ịmalite.
Golden Promise Fiesta 1.0 2025. Be there at the biggest fiesta of the year. Join us live at Sonia Hotel, Sawait, 153B Eziweka Road, Awado Busi, Onitsha, on the 20th of December 2025 by 5 p.m. till dawn. It'll be a night of unforgettable entertainment, comedy, dance, and thrilling musical performances from Annie Dons, Professor Chikobi, Sawan-on-One Women Leader, Twin Parrots, Abuchi Obusi, and many more. Tickets are available now. Regular 2,000 naira, VIP 10,000 naira, VVIP table of 5 persons 500,000 naira. Get yours at number 1 Ngozi Obago Plaza, 20 Enugu Road, Onitsha, or number 1 Pampam Lane Suite, P25, second floor, Merito Plaza, Main Market, Onitsha. Before the tickets sell out, contact us on the following numbers: 0814-394-2802 or 0808-441-5156. Golden Promise Fiesta 2025, proudly powered by Golden Promise Entertainment, sponsored by Melvin Table Water and Callisto's International Limited. Don't just hear about it, be there.
You're listening to Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic. You're listening to The Polity. Get involved now.
It's your turn to get involved. Put a call across to 0803-221-6973, 0803-827-6694. You have 2 minutes. Let's not waste time on pleasantries. Be as objective as possible. Let's hear what you have to say. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Yes,
good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, how? My name is Odaze. I think the whole episode... Oh, my lady, good morning.
Good morning, Odaze. You're welcome.
Good morning, and my friend Franklin, good morning, everybody. A bit excited because I've been doing a lot of writing through the night and taking note of what is almost supporting itself. I hope this is not a designed plan to distract Nigerian political terrain. It's all around our neighborhood and we think it's funny. But it isn't funny at all. And I don't think, until we begin to call Benin Republic what it is, it's a border. It's inside Nigeria. We begin to tell ourselves what these pockets of African countries are, how close they are, the benefits when they have Nigeria and co. I know where they are coming from. Why should it be now? We have less than a year and 6 months for next election. We must take note of that. But having said that, I want to ask my president, Mr. Tinubu, who is the president of ECOWAS, African Union, what exactly is going on? If he doesn't handle these countries where their policies, doesn't he think Nigeria is in a precarious situation? How can Nigeria go to occupy someone else's airspace in this time of our history in the world? Is it possible? Are they being naive? Are they being stupid? Is it deliberate? Why should we station soldiers in Benin, in Semehia? Why should we do that? And keep giving it all sorts of names. Let's sit up. Let's sit up. The kitchen is beginning to get too hot, and I don't know where we're going to run to. We're going to sort it out. Even if we call all the parties and put them in one pocket. Does that save a situation? Does that? Try to start thinking. Have yourself a wonderful day.
Have a wonderful day too. Let's hear you. 0803-221-6973. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Chisom. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, Sunday. Good morning.
You're welcome.
My name is Ebuka. I'm calling you from Olisa. Let me speak on this issue of first, issue of Fubra. I think what is happening to Fubra is expected. That Fubra don't have any option rather than to join APC. Because being a TDP won't even say free. Because TDP is wicked is TDP. APC River State is wicked, and River State APC is wicked. Everything tackle on wicked. So there is no way Fubra will survive without leaving PDP to APC. That is the survival politically. That is it. On the issue of what Soyinka says, I think he's right. And when you see what is going on in Nigeria, I ask myself, the other day, the president gave an order that all the security, that all the police that is attached to VIP will be thrown. And today, police is setting a committee to go and look into the people that have not, the police that have not. I wonder, are we still Nigeria? Do we still have government? That the government, the president of the country will give an order and they will set a committee to go and recover police from the VIP. It's not funny. Nigeria is going somewhere where I don't know. And you see, children with armored policemen, police, soldier, and all the security apparatus in Nigeria, they will think that that guy is the president of the country and will have a country. Exactly what Olisa Mbeki said is the truth. And Tinubu has to listen to this. This is not a case of when the security or the orderly will now come and say, Wala and the rest of them will come and tell her that this Olisa Mbeki is doing something. Forget about Olisa Mbeki. It's not about the issue of forget about Olisa Mbeki. What he said is the truth. They should look into this thing. Thank you.
All right, thank you for your contribution. Who's on the line? Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
This is Sunday calling from a blog.
Go ahead, please. Sunday, go ahead. We can hear you.
Yes. Concerning the coup in Benin Republic, to me, I see, you know that half of Benin Republic are Yorubas. Yorubas see Benin Republic as their second home, and the president understands that whatever that affect there will affect Lagos negatively. So he will everything he has to protect that Benin Republic. Yorubas see that place as their own second home. I have been there, I've lived there, I understand their politics within them and Lagos State. So Tinubu will use everything he has. Even the Senate, whether they support him or not, he must protect that Benin Republic. But they see it as a second home. Secondly, even the Senate, they don't want their seats to be affected. They don't want anything like you. They are ready to support him to make sure that it will not allow you to happen in Benin, so that it will not happen.
They should try to reconnect. But Tony, buying into making it ethnic now, do you see any sense in that? And the fact that Tinubu is moving towards making sure that there is protection of democracy in Benin Republic because there are a lot of Yorubas there?
I think it's just ethnic bias. There's no doubt. You know, it's purely ethnic bias. They are a sovereign nation.
Good morning.
Dr. Olisa Mbeki, good morning, sir.
You're welcome. It's good to have you.
Yeah, I proceed. Ebuka from Obosi. See, there's one thing I want to tell Mr. President and the rest of the people on top as the governors, senators, name them. If they like, as APC group member, let they lobby all the people in Nigeria down to APC as their candidate, as their people. This time around, APC is supposed to know that election of 2027 is not about APC to PDP or to ADC or to this one. It's APC to Nigerian citizens. Anywhere they go, we follow them. If they like all the people, drop APC as the one party system in Nigeria. For my first life, I see this kind of move. And all the people that fight good luck that time, nobody today come out to do something. But to have so many of them social media, they open their mouth, begin to say what I don't understand. See what the daughter of Tunumbu said to the father, to the brother. Know that this thing has entered everybody's heart. You're suffering the citizens, 330 million people. Taking the kind of power this cartel and cabal think they possess. You see, on top of the good of this country, they suffer the poor masses. They will cross like our hands. They say that God will help. Heaven help those who help themselves. We don't need to keep quiet like this. What is this thing going on? We have problems in this our country. We are going there to do what? For what reason? And nobody wants to say anything. I read my case here, brother. You are blessed.
All right. Thank you for your contribution. Good morning.
Good morning, Chisom.
Good morning.
Good morning, my sister Olisa Mbeki.
You're welcome.
Franklin. The voice of Honorable the Mayor Okuchukume. Okura Ochendo. No more than I would know. Can I go on?
You're welcome.
Tony, I want to ask you this question, please. All this defection, carrying another party's mandate, another party. Does this supposed to be so? In the Western country, can such things be happening? Because you can see most of these governors, in fact, half of the governors that are now in APC are through defection. They will carry people, but people will trust you in your party and give you their mandate. After 2 months or years, they will carry the mandate of those people to another party. Then the party that won that election, MC, does this type of thing supposed to happen where there is democracy or law prevails? This is my question. Then another thing is that all these cock and bull stories that are being told about our soldiers, sending our soldiers to the Republic. These soldiers, what will they help us see all these kidnapping, killings, and all ISIS, and what has prevented us to send them to the bushes where these people are doing all manner of atrocities? Why is it that we have plank in our eye and go and remove a stick in another people's? Our house is on fire. Now you are carrying to over there. I can't understand what is happening in Nigeria. Thank you and God bless you. I want you to answer.
All right. Thank you, Tony. Is going to answer in due time. Good morning.
Good morning, Tommy. Good morning, Olisa Mbeki and Franklin. Good morning to you guys. My name is Mario Bishop.
Go ahead, Mario.
Thank you. Talking about the issue of this sending our military men to Benin. Talking about protection. I hear so many arguments that whatever happens to them has automatically entered Nigeria. How? Niger and Chad, are they not having the same border with Nigeria? Has anything that affected us? In fact, people move from Niger to Nigeria as easy as moving from Benin to Nigeria. So how all these arguments, to me, just Mr. President just did what he feels like. Maybe saying that Yorubas are there. Maybe that is the reason why he acted like that. But telling me that what happened to Benin will easily happen to Nigeria, I don't believe that. If the coup want to happen in Nigeria, it will happen, not because it's happening in Benin. After all, Chad and Niger, it is military authority is leadership there. Has it affected Nigeria? And one question I would like to ask, based on the Nigerian jet that was would I say arrested or by Burkina Faso's government, I will keep asking this question: what are they doing in that particular country? I will keep asking this question. Mr. Speaker made a little sense of what I am reasoning all this while. You will not tell me that you are heading to Portugal and something happened, you have to drop in Burkina Faso. Why must it be Burkina Faso? Why must it be Burkina Faso? They are looking for something there. Just like what somebody said, they are going for drop-off. Why don't you allow just a pilot or maybe 2 or 3 pilots to go for that mission? Why must our military on their camouflage be in that place? They should stop lying to Nigerians. Every time they keep lying to us. To me, they are on that mission, they are on spy.
All right. Are you done now? Because you should be rounding off. Thank you for your contribution. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Yeah, this is Uche from Eva.
Go ahead, Uche.
Good morning, crew.
You're welcome.
In this Nigeria I don't think the government are telling us the truth. Anything happens here, they must find out a way to just cover up. Thinking that we are all fools who don't know what is going on. I think to Tony yesterday, there was what he was saying today. He said, "Do you have any evidence?" You know, here in Nigeria, if you say something without any evidence, but you will say the truth, because of that evidence, you will be fast inside a bar or in a counter. But we all know the truth. Now, look at what I was saying about Rivers State election, last election, in Rivers State. Everybody knows that APC did not win that state. But all of a sudden, a result was drafted and it went in favor of Tinubu. So now, Wike himself knew that without him winning Rivers State, that his aims will not be achieved. That is that. And they are now trying again, they are now warming up to see how they can as well do as they used to do. One of my House member, National Assembly member, who speak the speech, is now late. He said that after the election, we play politics. After election, we now we're going into governance. So we don't have governance in Nigeria. We don't have governance. What we have is only politics. We do this in everything. We don't have governance at all in Nigeria. You can look at what's happening in Nigeria. You did that Fubara had a pending case with EFCC. During the time he was being campaigned for his government simulation, about almost 500 billion naira missing. When he was general with Wiki, they know what they're doing. These people are their one. They are just deceiving us. And now, since he came to governor, all that case has just been cleared. So who is deceiving who in Nigeria? Is it Nigeria that is next to a lot of money? Is it Nigeria mocking a lot of money? And they are paying all those things. People are dying, no security, no infrastructure. We have many graduates all over the country, no job, nothing at all to show up in this country, and with the stuff to be happy. Oh God, may God help us.
All right, thank you.
Please, may God help us. I do advise my fellow youth, please make sure you have something doing. Make sure you be yourself in something. Don't rely on this government, because they have nothing to offer to us again.
All right, thank you for understanding. Please, if you talk, allow your brother a chance to also contribute. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Franklin.
Yes, good morning. Your name?
Monday Johnson.
Go on, Mr. Johnson.
You're welcome. It's good to have you.
Thank you, Chisom. Regard to you. Like I said some time ago, I mourn for the death of our democracy. What happened yesterday to me in Rivers State is not a breaking news, because I see it that the remain of Fubara has just been committed to APC yesterday. Fubara had long left, but the remain was committed to APC yesterday. But why I mourn for our democracy is because the arm of government that should protect the democracy is the one destroying the democracy. That is the legislature. When we hear democratically elected, it means the person is holding the mandate of the people. But it baffles me that somebody will wake up one morning and tell Nigeria that he has called the stakeholders and that they have agreed that they have defected. During the election that brought you in, was the election, was it, for only the stakeholders? During the election, the people came together and elect you. And while living, you live
permission of the stakeholders. This is a dead democracy. If I am a lawmaker, I would have introduced a law that will make it in such a way that before you defect with the mandate of the people, you will also go around and consult those people that give you that mandate. If they agree, then you will now move. If they say no, you remain there you are. Because to me, living like that means going or stealing the mandate of the people. And to me, it's unacceptable. And I must end by saying this. If Nigerians cannot rise up and demand a process that will not only the legislators that are the ones that will, impeach a governor, that the people can come together and say, no, we don't want this man again.
All right, Monday.
And the matter will be taken up from there. We can never get it right any longer. Good morning.
All right. Thank you, Monday, for joining. Let's go over to our Facebook page. Ifeanyi Chukwu Chris Ojuku, thank you for following the program. Odili Aloysius says, Fubara joining APC shouldn't be seen as a surprise. That is what Mr. President has been planning over him. But let Fubara not rejoice over joining APC, because the battle now should be, can he get APC ticket for 2027? Secondly, Tony, the way politicians cross over to other political parties from the original parties, is it what the Constitution said about it? He's saying it's no longer applicable for the person to vacate such seat. Nigeria's problem is lack of respect for what the Constitution says. Okay, he posted from Omo Bana. Maybe we'll have time to address that, because the law is vocal when it comes to legislators, but when it comes to executive, the governors, the law is silent there. Then Dr. Mrs. Lebera from Owere says sad that in Nigeria our charity begins abroad. How can a person whose house is on fire goes about chasing rats? Our leaders are not sincere in tackling insecurity. We pray for the right persons to lead, not to rule, to give, not to take away. Moral compass, not rudderless captains, installing those who deserve our loyalty and leadership, not those that demand our dealership and lordship. Men and women who stand tall on moral foundation, who march on gold in search of honor, with service and a heart of love for us. Leaders with fear of God and ambition of living here better than they met it. Also, Francis Maganamani from Amaguns in Enugu State says, okay, Fubara's defection to the APC is never breaking news, because he had long gone to the party. Capiro International says, one thing I'm promising Wike, Tinubu and APC is that Obi will happen to them again in 2027, and it will be like a tsunami. And he says Nigerians are watching. Maybe on a very good day we'll talk about this very touted Obi tsunami, whether it's going to happen or not. Ugochukwu Frank says the former defecting to the APC is the final confirmation that some politicians don't have ideology, only stomach direction. Man walked into office talking about integrity and walked out holding broom like a survivor kit. As MAPC he once criticized suddenly became the promised land. I beg, it's not defection, it's political migration for convenience. Nigeria truly has no position, just job seekers in our border. Okay. And the Goodwill Okoye says Fubara joining APC is not a big deal. We have seen such coming a long time ago. But the fact is that his problem as a governor of River State hasn't ended yet. As long as Wike State controls every River State structure, when their issues will arise, let's watch how APC will protect him against his master Wike. Ike Ngampo says, he posted from Asaba. He says, Fubara's defection to APC is never breaking news, but they should know. Okay, that a country of one political party is a time bomb waiting for the time to explode. Mazinwure Chikwadoro Osinachi says he's watching from Onitsha, and he says that he sensed the defection of Fubara a long time ago. Then Ugochukwu Frank comes back to say President Tinubu didn't need jets or tanks. He should have sent his son Sheyi Tinubu, and he says it's a wise saying from Professor Wole Soyinka: power must never be about showing off. When strength becomes a display, we lose respect. Professor Wole Soyinka's warning hits hard, sending Sheyi not soldiers. That's the message from Wole Soyinka today. Let's show more substance. And okay, Sebastian Igwe says Nigerian politics is a dirty game owing to what Fubara is going through in Rivers State. Is according to you, he is a one-leg governor, and away from this, Nigeria sending troops to Niger Republic is just it's not Niger Republic, Benin Republic. Okay, but he's saying it's a misplaced priority because he sees no reason why our house should be on fire and we go about protecting others. He says very unfortunate. Nigeria is the complex country ever seen in the West African sub-region. And he says God is watching. Others who posted, those who came back to make multiple posts, I just took one of the posts he made, and I hope you understand that. So these are the comments we have on our Facebook page. So we get to wrap up because we're out of time. But there's some questions that some persons raised that need to be addressed. So Tony, we'll start from the questions. Somebody asked a question about, defection. There's no law stopping governors from defecting with. So
there's no law. There's no law. In fact, law is silent, as you said, when it comes to governors defecting from one political party to the other, but not silent when it comes to members of the different assemblies. It could be State House of Assembly. It could be the National Assembly. It could also be the House of Representatives. Of course, they have laws holding them, but do they obey that law? Do they obey the Constitution? Because the Constitution also put in a caveat that looks so ambiguous unless there is division at the leadership of the party. Even the Supreme Court has said that the division should be at the headquarters, not at the state, not at the local government. But even at that, we've seen defections, the side division, the side quarrel. In fact, we need to look into our laws. And I'm agreeing with those who say that governors, they have the mandate of the people, so they can't move from one political party to the other. We must also amend the. Nobody's talking about this issue of governors defecting. We have constitutional amendment going on, and none of them is talking about it. So we should also add it up in such a way that before you defect, if at all, we should even ban defection. No reason.
All right.
If your house is on fire, deal with it. But that's by the way. I don't know if there is any other.
We're totally out of time, so we may not be able to address any more of those questions. Tony, thank you for your wonderful analysis today. And of course, Franklin.
For me, what I've been following is the pictures of Natasha Akpoti, dotting every place in the social media because of the houses she donated or she built for her 6 legislative aides. 3 have been handed over, and she's going to hand over 3 more to mark her 46th birthday anniversary. And I must say that since yesterday, some persons in the social media platform, or rather some persons active in social media in Anambra State, they've been trying to do some comparisons, and they have been calling out Anambra reps and the senators asking, if your fellow senator can build houses for legislative aides, what have you been doing for people who have been serving you?
Well, big question there, and also not just about what is being done for legislative aid. It's about what is being done in the first place. Are they even working? I mean, look at the fact that one Natasha representing a particular constituency in a state house anyway has been all about a man's business instead of the business of the constituency that elected her. So I'd say different strokes for different folks. Unfortunately, the democracy we practice here leaves a lot to be desired. But of course, this is where we bring down the curtain on today's edition of the Polity. Absolutely making a return tomorrow, 9:15 down to 11 a.m. Until then, I am Chisom Chinedu. And of course, I'd always remind you to do your bit as a Nigerian to get the Nigeria that we desire. I'll see you again at 12:25. And today on the Cherry Box, we are going to be discussing music. I'm not going to tell you his name yet. I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag yet. But I promise you, the guest we are having today is the real deal. So keep it locked. See you at 12:25.
If you want to know, come, I'll whisper to you.
Okay.
My name is Franklin. Good morning.
From the commercial city of Onitsha comes Udala Radio 104.7 FM, the voice of the region.